Hi everyone. Today I'm talking to Rachit Khator. He's the founder and CEO of stackby.com, which is a collaborative database platform that helps non-technical people create and customize their own software. Before that, he was working in venture capital as a product manager for a large Fortune 500 company in Michigan, USA, where he's worked with over 15 technology startups. He holds a dual master's degree, one in applied physics from NIT in Surat, India, and the other in entrepreneurship from the University of Michigan. He returned to India in 2018 to build StackBy after years of struggle in dealing with multiple spreadsheets and applications, which I'm sure is something we can all relate to. In this conversation, we talk about no code, we talk about remote works, and we talk about future trends. Please welcome Rachit Khator. Hi, Rachit. How are you doing today?
Hi, Michael. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a really hot day here in the Gold Coast, and you're in Bangalore. Is that right?
No, I'm actually in a city called Surat. It's
Surat.
4 hours north of Mumbai, in India.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what's it like there?
It's actually, Surat is one of the fastest growing cities in the world.
Wow.
So it's next to becoming a metro in India, and it's super famous for textiles and diamonds. So
Diamonds and textiles.
So
very flashy.
90% of the world's diamonds are polished in our city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're a diamond being polished.
We're just building the tech ecosystem here.
Yeah.
Surat is a hometown. There are some really good engineering institutes around. There's a lot of good talent, but that talent, always goes to different cities, to work.
Right? Yeah. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and your journey to where you are today?
Sure, absolutely. So I started my education. I did my master's in physics, and then I ended up pursuing entrepreneurship from University of Michigan. Post which, I was working, in the US for a few years for a large automotive company called Magna. They were they were a large automotive supplier, and we were doing venture capital for automotive related technologies. So autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, connected car, and so on. So I did that for close to 4 years, and 2018 is when I moved back to India to start StackBy. So the whole idea of StackBy really emerged while I was working, at the company. My life there was completely embroiled around spreadsheets. I was using it for everything. I mean, left, right, and center. Whether it's managing our deal flow or doing due diligence tracking, competitor tracking, and collaborating with the team, to build, ad hoc tables. And we are trying to find a better, piece of software, for us to organize and collaborate more effectively. Realize that there aren't enough options available in the market. There are a lot of CRM tools, project management tools, but nothing that could fit our workflow.
But nothing fluid enough to be able to change when workflows change. Because I find the same thing all over. Every company I've ever worked in has had spreadsheets or access databases that run everything, and it's like in an enterprise you can't have that because you don't know where the data is being stored. It's unmanaged. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our spreadsheets were all over the internet. I mean, we had like revision 52. I mean, for the 4 years that I was there, I had a revision 52 on our deal flow spreadsheet, and our bosses would always come back to ask me, okay, send me the latest one, and it's just this never-ending loop.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And StackBy is in production now, and it's got a fair number of users, or how is that growing?
Yeah, so 2018 is when we started our journey. July 2019 is when we launched, soft launched the product to the world. We participated at the RISE conference in Hong Kong, and that's where we could acquire some, early, customers, after the conference. And then Jan 2020 is when we launched it globally. We partnered with AppSumo in the US. And since then, we have acquired more than 5,000 plus customers across 150 countries. and we
So
could build.
AppSumo was a successful campaign for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah. AppSumo was really a success because we are a horizontal product. So their community
Yeah.
really appreciated a product like this. And we had people from all sorts of backgrounds. Like we had an e-commerce, owner from Hawaii to a life coach, from Indonesia, using the
Yeah.
platform and everything in between. So
Yeah. And what do you, I mean, Stackby is a no code platform. What do you
yep.
think makes no code more than just a buzzword? Because you see it all over the place now. And,
Yeah.
you go and look for a no code solution and there's always some code somewhere. But
Yeah.
what do you think makes it more than just another buzzword?
Yeah. So, for me, no code essentially is a broad term, but within no code there are building blocks, right? And what has happened over the last 10 to 15 years is that these building blocks are opening up, for non-technical people, and application developers like us are taking these building blocks, combining it into a single platform, and making it super easy for the end user to navigate and to build something on top of it. So what we did, as tagged by spreadsheets, have been around since the last 40 years. People have been using Excel, Access, Lotus, since years now, right? And people
Yep.
love the whole, fact that, there is a table and you can do anything with that table. And databases traditionally have been something that only technical people could resonate with, right? Not business people. I mean, a lot of people know about Microsoft Access, but very few use it, right? And they
Yeah.
still use, spreadsheets as this data organization, tool. So for us, spreadsheets and databases were those building blocks, right? And also in the last few years, APIs have opened up, right? A lot of,
Yep.
there was some, in 2015, there was just, some 500 public APIs. And today, there are more than 25,000 public APIs. That means more and more services are being utilized via these third-party APIs. And good solutions are being built on top of these APIs, right? We see the likes of Twilio, we see likes of, SendGrid, with email APIs, SMS APIs, and how they've changed the world, right? So what
Yeah.
we wanted to do was that how about we take, spreadsheets, databases, and APIs and combine it into a single, cohesive platform for any business user to customize their own tool, right? And these building blocks comprise of no code, right? What comes out of it, what you can build out of it, is essentially a completely no code solution, whether it's a small CRM or a project management tool or a custom bug issue tracker or a custom database of any sorts. Plus, we have also opened up our APIs, so you can use this as a backend, like a lightweight backend database, and build solutions on top of it. So you can connect these to app builders or website builders like Webflow or Adlo or Bubble, and you can take data from Stackby and show it through those app builders via simple connections. And this whole ecosystem is now coming together, right? And we see serious solutions being built on top of no code, like these no code platforms. And we've seen some startups very recently also ended up raising a lot of money, funding, completely built off no code. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I see
And
the prospects are very.
it
Yeah.
allows such rapid development as well. Like, the companies that are using these solutions can get prototypes out within a day, in some cases. So,
Yeah.
it's really useful.
Absolutely.
Did you see many challenges during the time that you were building Stackby?
Yeah. So I went from being in the US, with a very vibrant tech ecosystem, to coming to a tier 2 city in India where the tech ecosystem is essentially not there. There are a lot of IT service based companies, but there are very few product based companies coming out of our city.
Okay.
So the biggest challenge was to find talent, right? How do we work with the existing talent, and luckily we could find some really good people. We brought them to the vision of what Stackby is going to be, and today we are at a point where people who have gone to work at different cities, whether it's Bangalore or Mumbai, they want to now come back to the city and work for Stackby. So
Yeah.
I mean that has changed over the last 3 years. So patience, I would say is a virtue that a lot of people neglect, but as I think as entrepreneurs, it's the most important virtue that you can have, right? So
Yeah.
patience and perseverance, I would say.
Perseverance is a big one because you always end up with ups and downs during the first few years of a startup, and being able to just look towards the future and see a happy ending is actually quite important, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than no code, do you see any other trends that are coming out of the tech industry that might might catch on in the next few years?
I mean, we are already in it, right? I mean, what we spoke about distributed work, remote work, I think the world is already brought to that situation, right?
It's totally changed, hasn't it?
It's totally changed. I mean, Gartner was predicting all of this in 2025 and beyond. And, we are seeing all of this in 2020. So I think our timelines have, de-accelerated. I mean, we have we are sitting, in the future, what we were, discussing a few years back. So along with no code, I would say, there are, rapid application building, as you said, is becoming a norm, right? So, now there is a very thin line between, developers and non-developers. So there are just, 25 million developers in the world, which is 0.2% of the population. And there are a billion plus spreadsheet users, right? Now think, these two, sectors are merging, right? And there's a very thin line, between developers and these, Excel users who are now going to become software creators in the future, right? So, that shift is increasing, right? As we say, the market is also increasing that, there is a lot of interest in tools like this, as you imagine. Every single month we are looking at new tool that's being launched on Product Hunt, around the whole no code space, right? I mean, they even had like an award, in 2020, like a Golden Kitty Award, within the no code category. So, I mean, things are moving pretty fast, I would say. So along with no code, I would say, rapid access to APIs, distributed work, rapid application development, and merging between, developers and non-developers. I mean, these are, some trends that I'm envisioning in the next 5 years. Between 1 or 2 cities in India, we are now our team members are in 8 different cities.
Okay, so it's actually allowed you to close that gap of being able to recruit the right people, rather than just being able to recruit the people who are available in your city. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's great. Yeah, that's brilliant. Onto more about you. What's your relationship like with technology? Your personal relationship? Do you tend to be on the bleeding edge of things, or are you more cautious about technology and new things coming out?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we are a fine balance. We love to innovate and experiment, with what's new out there, but we are also, very focused on, what our customers want. As an early stage startup, it's always, you need to strike a fine balance between, hey, can we put, artificial intelligence or, all the who's who of technology, within your product.
Yeah.
Versus,
it's kind of what I was saying about buzzwords at the beginning. It's like, how many buzzwords can we fit into our product?
Exactly. And versus what your customers want, right? I mean, and there is a fine balance that we have to manage, like as a team. While the tech guys want to work on bleeding edge of stuff, the product guys are a little cautious in terms of, hey, this is not what the customer wants right now. We will get there, but let's take one step at a time, right? Rome is not built in a day. I mean, if you want to build good product, I mean, you need to spend at least 5, 6, 7 years, of your time in building the ecosystem, building the right product, and really getting that true product market fit, across different industries.
And I think by the time you release a product, the technology has changed at the bleeding edge as well. So you want that stable, the stability that a tested, tried and true method will provide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I still, I'm still using an iPhone 8. I don't tend to, up until about maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago, I was still using a non-smartphone. So it's not, I try to, I don't know, I work in technology. So when I'm outside of work, I don't want to have the complications of it. So
absolutely. I mean, my father is on iPhone 6 and he loves it.
Yeah. It just works and you don't need to worry about it. You don't have to worry about which camera you're using or which lens you're going to go to. Or
exactly.
Do you have a favorite piece of technology other than your father's iPhone 6?
I mean, from a technology standpoint, I mean, if you're talking about programming frameworks, right? I mean, we love JavaScript. The way JavaScript has evolved, over the last, decade is just phenomenal, right? I mean, and I think it is there to stay. I mean, how progressive web apps have, come into foray, and it's only because companies like Stackby, are there in the market because the underlying piece of technology is available, right? And you
Yeah.
can do so much more with it, right? And at the same time, there is a whole new, world of, talent opening up, within, within JavaScript, and it's just becoming easier and easier to build progressive web apps right now. So because of that trend, I mean, I think, we love JavaScript as a whole, but at the same time, other technologies, I mean, we love, Slack, Zoom, all the, all that's out there, right? I mean, what you see in here, because it's really impacting our lives, on a day-to-day basis. So if you use it properly, I mean, these tools can really make a difference in your life, right? And
Yeah, they
especially
can.
moving forward, if you want to scale, because we're thinking of, adding say 15 more people in the next 3 months. If we didn't have the technologies that we had today, we wouldn't be thinking like this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's even, even outside of technology, it's helped a lot because, the like like we were saying before, when we were locked down for a start, people were using Zoom to do yoga classes and things. So it's,
Yeah.
it has become that more mainstream thing now rather than just something that the tech guys use.
It's crazy. My mom is on Zoom all day. I mean, she's more on Zoom than me, than I am with my team. And she's talking to her friends, or she's, doing some events, or she's, listening to some lectures, with some ladies. I mean, she's on Zoom and she's on her mobile all the time. So, I mean,
I
technology is
remember
really bringing people closer.
I remember one of my friends who is also from India said to me once that I asked why don't you pay your bills online, and she said, well, if I paid my bills online, where would I go to talk to people?
Yeah.
Now it's Zoom. So
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I think recently there is a report that mentioned that a lot of women are facing fatigue on Zoom, and it's more prevalent in women than men. So
Oh,
it was
really?
an interest. Yeah.
I try to avoid it as much as I can, but it's been nice to be able to get back to the office lately.
Yeah.
In Australia where we're not too bad, so it's not so locked down, and we're able to get back into the office and back out to bars and restaurants and things like that. So that's
Which is a good thing. I mean, we miss that. To be really honest, I'm more of an outside person as well. I'm not the work from home kinds, but I think the situation is just forced us to work from home and change our habits.
Yeah. And hopefully it'll get back to normal soon where we can actually go out and meet people and shake hands and do things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I miss that already. I mean, I haven't done it in 1 year now.
Yeah. There's a huge change. And, we're just talking about how JavaScript had changed over the last 5 years. How do you keep up to date? Are you a video guy, or are you go to conferences? Well, you can't go to conferences anymore, but, things like that. How do you learn?
Yeah. So I think, I love the fact that there are apps like Blinkist available, right? I mean, I
Blinkist
read
is
a lot of,
fantastic, isn't it?
it is fantastic. I mean, I love it. I mean, as founders, as entrepreneurs, I mean, I don't have the attention space to read the book, for a few hours, right? And if I can get a summary of the book a day, I think that still makes a lot of difference. I mean, I can ponder over it multiple times, right? Even if I want to, read those points maybe, every week or so. So I think that has really helped me, and I keep myself updated, using, Blinkist, learning about, different things. And I also periodically take up, a lot of video courses, right, around marketing and product. I've been, part of, certain, webinars, as well, which are very industry specific webinars, and even like thought leaders, talking about something. So yeah, I mean, I keep myself updated, from all the, but Blinkist is really the go-to, tool to learn from.
I just love it because I mean, I listen to it. I don't read it. I just listen to it on through, while I'm walking or something like that. And you can cover a book or two. And if you do want to do a deep dive, you can, Audible, you can just go and get the book, and it's, it's fine, because a lot of the times I do actually want to dive deeper, and I do actually spend like a few hours on the weekend reading through what I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that has also prompted me to buy a couple of books. I mean, I read the summaries and I said, no, it's definitely worth buying these books. So I ended up buying it, either on Kindle or, even physical copies. Yeah.
Yeah. Over the last few years, do you think that, I mean, everything's changed so much, but is there something available now that has really altered the way that you work, that you couldn't have done, say, 10 years ago? I mean, even 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think I think one thing that has changed really is content and education, right, around tools. Think about it. 2015. I see myself in 2015. Working in this large company, and all these tools, project management, CRM. CRM is still was still a little popular, but the project management, all these no code applications were just at the beginning of it. I mean, there are hardly any products that were launched 5 years back. Today we have like Airtables of the world, Mondays of the world, Notions of the world, right? Coming about, and making these knowledge sharing platforms. So Slack, right, that grew in the last 5 years. Microsoft Teams, and these tools were not available. And we were mostly relying on Gmail, Google Meet, or Outlook, or
Or Skype.
emails, Skype, right? I mean, the world was completely different, back then. And today we have like plethora of options, within, creating your own remote work tech stack, right? And that has changed. I mean, the way it has progressed in the last 5 years it's crazy with the amount of people who have been educated, uh, to use platforms and tools like this, and how really it's making a difference in their lives to become more productive.
Do you think the education has, I mean, it's obviously positive, but do you think that it's affected companies and how they grow as well? Because I know that internal training is now being delivered a lot by video rather than, by processes and documents and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think video has changed completely, right? I mean, YouTube, and how they have grown. I think it was one of the best investment, by Google, to get YouTube. I mean, it's the investment of all time. Video and content creation is just booming, and there are so many people who have prompted to become content creators, and this content is they talk about different tools, they talk about life, they talk about entrepreneurship. And it's really making an emotional connect, right? I mean, through PDFs and documents, you cannot really make an emotional connect. But when you are delivering something over a video, I mean, first, you can identify your target audience, you can segment it very well. And the second is you can build an emotional connect with them. And that can only happen through video once you see and, hear somebody, right? And it's just crazy with the amount of the fact that, the way it has grown in the last. I was not using YouTube honestly 5 years back. I periodically if I would watch a couple of videos, but now any information that I want to get to, I first search on YouTube then on Google.
Yeah, or if you do search on Google, it comes up with YouTube results anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I think that like you said, even 5 years ago, I was probably using YouTube just to look up music videos or to look up comedy sketches and things like that. Now it's how do I debug this error or something like that? We're in there. Yeah, it's amazing.
I learned painting. So I mean, my recent hobby, I started painting. So
wow.
I learned painting, just by looking at those beginner tutorials, on YouTube, and I ended up creating like 5 paintings in the last 2 months.
Does that painting help you relax?
It does. It is. It's such a stress buster. I mean, I will always encourage somebody. I mean, to get into painting. It's a huge stress buster.
Yeah. No, I think we all need that in our lives. Something that is not, especially if we're involved in business or tech or anything like that. We need something to get out of our heads, out of our own headspace.
Yeah.
We have 3 questions that we ask everyone that comes on Nerds Out of Water, and this is, there's just some questions to get you thinking about what you might be doing. What would you be doing different? What would you do differently if you had the chance in your career?
Yeah. So I mean, I would end up pursuing PhD in physics and study about black holes.
Black holes.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're an astronomer.
I would get into astrophysics.
Do you have any predictions for the future of your industry or the technology that you're using?
Yeah, I mean, I think remote work, distributed collaboration, no code is here to stay, and I think there will be serious applications. I think today no code is limited to people building internal applications, but I think in the future people will build external user facing applications on no code, and they would scale to that level, right? And the fact that the big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Google are already making strides and acquisitions launching products here and there. It's just I think reiterates the fact that there is something big in the works in the coming future. So I would say business owners, I know a lot of business owners, especially in India, who are non-technical, right? But they want to implement technology in their businesses and they don't know where to start. And there's a huge gap to fill. You talk about 100 million SMEs in India. It's ridiculous. I mean, you think about it. I mean, we have so many customers in Australia. I mean, we have like from all the remotest parts, within Australia, from like a dentist to like a supply chain management company. And these people are looking for solutions, right? Yeah. And we couldn't have imagined, a couple of years back that we would get customers, come searching for us, like this, right? Yeah. And somehow they figured out, okay, there's something like StackBuy. They came about, they tried it, and they've become customers.
Of course, because it makes sense to do that, especially like you said, with the amount of spreadsheets being used.
Exactly. And you can, when you just read reports, right? You create a certain hypothesis, but unless you don't see it, right? Unless you don't talk to your customers and don't see it, what exactly the problems we are trying to solve. It's just amazing. I mean, you can keep reading Gartner reports that says that, okay, 65% of the, app development will happen through no code by 2024, but you have to really see it to believe it, right? And when you see it with non-technical people building solutions, it's just amazing. It's so satisfying, in some cases that, there is a, like a dumpster, truck rental company, who's using StackBuy. And he messaged me. I think he's from US, and he messaged me. I've been looking for a solution since so many couple of years now, and I couldn't find the way to manage my my dumpster rentals. And I'm like, okay, great. I mean, I'm at least that tool is making a difference, to your operations. It's just amazing.
And like you said, that it's anything from those guys up to larger companies that are using it. And I guess that the IT people within those larger organizations are going, well, this is great because we can still control the data and the stability and things like that. We can still access it through APIs, but you guys can tell us what it is that you're collecting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from small to big, right? I mean, enterprise is the way to go, but I think you first have to provide value to a lot of small to medium businesses, because with any economy, right, that's where the heart is. The heart of the economy is with small to medium, medium businesses and owners and entrepreneurs, right, who are starting out. And that's why we support a lot of startups, right, coming through, coming to our platform as well. I mean, we give them free access. We have partnered with like Startup India, which is the government body, and there are more than 50,000 startups in India, and all of them, all the registered Indian startups are open to get 3 months of StackBuy free, and even periodically we even open it up for a longer period of time, till they are comfortable, using the platform. So, I think somebody needs to step up and really fill this gap, in the whole small to medium business world. Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. It's been lovely to talk to you, and it's nice to talk to someone who's so excited about this, because it's pretty exciting from our point of view, but it's also exciting for the business world as well, because it brings about different opportunities for them.
Absolutely. I mean, Michael, thanks a lot for inviting me. I mean, I cannot be more grateful, and I hope to stay in touch in all the future collaborations that we do.
I hope so too. All right. Thank you very much, Rachit.
Thanks, Michael. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wasting time and effort on projects that don't bring in money? Get an individual business optimization session free of charge. We provide trusted technology advice and experience to companies growing into a medium-sized company but are having trouble with scaling up to suit. Visit teamscale.com to learn more.